Hey everyone, it's Dr. Detroit here, the doctor is in, and welcome back to our F1 2021 full season playthrough. Today, we're heading to one of my favorite Grand Prix of all time. We are heading to the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Alright, so let's break it down for you. If you guys weren't here last time, then you guys missed a brilliant race, because look at this. 7 victories in a row with 7 fastest laps in a row. In fact, that actually brings our total to 9 victories for the year. In fact, the only other ones that have won have been Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen at Imola. Since then, we have been doing amazing, and we only have about 9 races left in this hunt for the championship. And as you can see in the standings, you can see here in the standings that we have a commanding lead over Lewis Hamilton, at least 42 to 43 points ahead of him, which is awesome. Meanwhile, over here in the vehicle area, you guys know that we have fitted a brand new engine into the car, which is fantastic. We also went back to one of the kinetic things, and we also are starting to show some wear here. But you might notice that there's a pending upgrade here to the energy store system. I don't know if you guys saw it, but towards the end of the Dutch Grand Prix, I noticed that the energy store was starting to lose power. So we're going to go ahead and take another grid penalty, but this time we will not be. We will definitely not be going back 20 grid spots. In fact, I think we're only going to get possibly either a 10 grid spot penalty or a 6 grid spot penalty. I don't know how many spots there are, and we still have a decent turbocharger here, which is at 9%, so it's at the same level. And then we have the control electronics, which, you know, these things are kind of, I mean, we're going to go ahead and switch back to the first one since we can do that. So that'll mean we'll have less wear than anything else. With the turbocharger and everything, we'll be fine there. And everything else seems like it's going to be okay. Let's see. Interesting. I could possibly bring in the heat category with this. So we'll do that. This we're going to keep. This one I think we're going to keep normal. Or we could go back to this. That way we have a strong car for this. So we'll have a couple of different things pending. In terms of R&D, there's a couple of things that we have coming down the pipe. We will not have them for this race, but pretty soon we will. We'll have some durability upgrades, we'll have some new rear downforce plates and everything. But right now the only thing that we're going to have is the lightweight pistons that will be placed in the engine. That'll give us a little bit extra power as we head into Monza.
Our new parts have completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next race weekend.
Awesome. So, I'm going to go qualify and practice the race car, and I'll see you guys on the grid at Monza momentarily.
Welcome back to one of only 2 countries that has held a race every year since the very first Formula One World Championship in 1950. It is, of course, Italy, one of the great racing nations, and it's time to get underway for the Italian Grand Prix. With top speeds reaching 215 miles per hour, only a few places can challenge Monza's crown as the fastest circuit in F1. Hard braking zones going into the 3 chicanes make up the majority of the 11 corners on this 3.6-mile circuit. And just in case the slipstream wasn't enough, 2 DRS zones will help encourage some closer action. Anthony Davidson, a lot of talented drivers out on the track today, but what will stand out for you?
Well, Crofty, my focus is 100% on the front of the grid. Like you said, we're seeing lots of strong competition across those positions, so it would be super interesting to see the fight for that front spot. Personally speaking, I'm hoping for plenty of overtakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Perez, Norris, Charles Leclerc and Verstappen. Ricciardo, Fernando Alonso. The scientist, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. And Lance Stroll. Vettel, Sainz. Antonio Giovinazzi and Russell. Latifi, Mick Schumacher. Nikita Mazepin and Pierre Gasly. They've taken a grid penalty. Tsunoda and Kimi Raikkonen finishes off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So, we did qualify on pole, but we did take a grid penalty, but we only took a 9 grid spot penalty because several other cars had to drop to the back. Let's take a look at the setup here and see where they're looking at. And once again, we're met with another setup deal where it's going to be a one-stopper. But what tires do we take? Do we go ahead and take the same strategy that has worked for us the last couple of days or last couple of races? Or do we go with the default strategy? I think we'll go ahead and work with the alternate strategy again, mainly because this was really, really good. Because take a look up there. They're going to have to get their tires up to lap 11. And I think we're going to pull something very similar to like what we did at the other track. Now, before we get out there, there's one thing I need to do with this. Let's see, where are the brakes? Here we go. Need a quite a bit more front brake for sure, but I also need to play around with the differentials a little bit. Because I'll tell you something, this track is hard on the engine, and I've already seen that for now. So now that we have our parameters and everything set up, it is going to be a 27 lap race, and I don't think it's going to be as hard as it was back at Zandvoort, but we'll see how well we do here. So let's get started. We're going to be starting right next to our teammate Fernando Alonso, who is finally showing some wheels as well. So here we go. We are starting to roll off the grid now. Okay, good. All my stuff is there.
The pull away. You'll have a bit more grip than that on the start, but we need to warm the tyres properly now. Make sure you get some heat into the brakes as well.
Okay then. So now what we are going to make sure about is that we're going to make sure that we have a nice clean lap to get things going. And one thing to note is that even though we're starting way back here in the 9th position, this car, oh my goodness, what a difference a new engine makes.
No threat of rain for the time being. Conditions looking good.
But also, the newest adjustments that we have here are going to be really good. In fact, I also triggered a R&D. I triggered an R&D upgrade that will not be with us until we get to Singapore, and that is reliability testing on the control unit. So whatever points that we get from here should help us out. And if we decide to do an extra season of this, then, you know, who knows what we can do with our little Alpine. But I'll tell you what, it was an amazing deal back at Zandvoort, so we'll see how this goes. So up ahead of us, we have Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso, our teammate, and then Lance Stroll and Sebastian Vettel. At the front row, you'll have Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. So once again, we're going to be chasing those pesky Mercedes. But I have great faith in this car. I think this is probably the strongest it's ever been, and I know we can win at this track. If we win, it could be our 8th win in a row, but could also mean that we would have 10 victories for the season. Can we do it, and can we extend our points lead? Well, let's see what we can do here. And now we're lining up. There's the rest of the field. There's Verstappen and Leclerc and Norris up ahead. Now we just wait for the green lights.
The rest of the grid is forming up. Be patient and watch for the lights.
Yep, here we go. Looks like the lights are going to start up any second. Here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's go, go, go! Oh, a blistering start on this. Oh, we are kind of just in a little sandwich there, but now we got to be really careful as we make our way into the turn. We had to go way wide. Ah, man.
Illegal maneuver. Cede that position or we'll receive a penalty.
Oh my god. You know what? Let's restart that. We're gonna restart the race because that was not a good rollaway. So take 2. So let's try this again. Here we go. 1 light, 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's go, go, go! Oh, look at this. We had to try and go to the outside there, but there was just no way for us to get out there. Now here we go. We're going to have to rush it here into turn number 1. Take it nice and easy through here. Don't get into anybody. Oh, we're trying to negotiate. Turn 1 and 2. Hard to the left, hard to the right. Alright, now let's use a little bit of our overtake here. See if we can get through. Daniel Ricciardo's on our inside, trying to make something happen. So now we fall back into the 10th position because we didn't really have that good of a launch. Let's see if we can get through the corners here. Get through the Daniel Ricciardo. And Lance Stroll doesn't give us any room. Just trying to make some headway here. So we head into Lesmo 1. That's right, the turns are called Lesmo. So this is Lesmo 1, and then here's Lesmo 2. There we go. Now I'll move us up to the 8th position, and let's use a little bit of our overtake now. We have a new control unit, so that should help with the overtake and also with generations as well. Here we go into the next couple of corners. This I think is Raskas or Ascari. I don't know the actual names of these turns. But right now our teammate Alonso is ahead of us. He's in 7th place. Make our way through the final turn as we make our way through. And there's Fernando Alonso ahead of us. So Valtteri Bottas will lead lap 1. Let's see what we can do here with a little bit of draft as we try to draft up behind Fernando Alonso. You know, one thing I will say as we are not going to make the pass right there, because that was going to be a fool's errand, is that this type of track is a little bit of the Achilles heel. As you can see, we're not getting away as quick, but we're actually staying a little bit closer than what we did with our older setup. We just have to wait for the right passing opportunities, and then we can really do some damage.
A new strategy.
We're gonna do a flashback there because I don't understand why that happened. We'll put it right here. I didn't think Monza was gonna be that frustrating. You know what I mean? Because see, we have the faster car right now than some of these other guys, but there's no way that we can get past anybody. We'll have to wait possibly for the DRS to be activated or figure out some way to get around our teammate and everything. Because we need to get up there. We need to get up there and see what we can do with this thing. Now, down the back straightaway, full throttle as we use a little bit of overtake. See if we can get close enough to our teammate Fernando Alonso to try and make something happen. Down into the corner, he cut us off. Couldn't even get around him. It's kind of like we have to just kind of bide our time again, but I can't have the Mercedes cars get away from us too much. Maybe we can try and get him here down the front straightaway. The DRS will be activated here in this next lap, so we'll have a little bit of help with us. Let's see what we can do here. A little bit of a drag race.
Is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Right around our teammate Fernando Alonso on the outside. Put us up into the 7th position as we almost hit the back of Charles Leclerc. And up ahead will be Lando Norris. Anyway, as I was trying to say before we got into a bit of a problem, this track would possibly be the Achilles heel for this car, but I definitely have some good confidence with this car. Because even though there's not too many technical portions of this place, I have a lot of experience here. I've actually won a couple of GT7 races here, and also have won several F1 races here as well. We're going to use we're going to use the DRS and try to make something happen, even use a little bit of our overtake. I don't think it's going to be enough, so we're going to have to kind of back off here, because we just could not catch them at all. We also went purple through that sector, so that's good news. Right now, everybody seems to not be pulling away too much, but I'm actually kind of surprised that other drivers took grid penalties like us. I'm sure at some point the Mercedes cars will need to take grid penalties. Now we'll have the DRS here on the front straightaway. Let's see if we can make something happen with it. Here we go. We are now on to the DRS. Trying to see if we can get around Charles Leclerc. Leclerc is defending for all he's worth. He's going to go way down to the inside. Oh, this is going to be close. Oh my goodness, right into the back of Lando Norris. But we get Leclerc. So put us up in the 6th position, and we also got the fastest lap again, which is good news. So yeah, it looks like we're starting to play leapfrog a little bit with some of these cars, and we just need to try and get up there. I mean, we're right here in 6th place, which is kind of interesting how we've been in 6th place the last couple of races, but now we're up here as Charles Leclerc tried to make something go his way, but I don't think that's going to work. He is possibly going to have DRS. We'll also have DRS as well. Here we go, the DRS is now open. Let's see if he can catch us here, but I don't think he can do anything with us. Neither can we do anything with Lando Norris, as now Lando Norris tries to park the bus on us. Not going to be happening. We're already on lap 4.
Check your MFD for a new strategy option.
You know, I'll be glad once we get those new upgrades to the aero kit at Singapore, because that shouldn't have happened. And see, as soon as we touch the curbs, I mean, everybody's running on top of the curbs, but as soon as we touch them, we spun out.
There's been an incident on track resulting in loose debris. Fortunately, the marshals have managed to clear it up in time, and there are no plans for a safety car right now.
Alright, so something must have happened over there. I don't know where the accident took place, but now we're going to have DRS again as we're behind Lando Norris. Let's use a little bit of our overtake here. See if we can take it all the way to the inside. He's going to take us way down to the curb. Wow, he tried everything to defend, but we had the upper hand.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
Yeah, that was definitely a good pass, indeed. We also regenerated a lot of overtake there, which is great news. So put us up into the 5th position now. We're inside the top 10. And looks like second...
Gap to car in front is 1.6 seconds.
And it almost looks like second verse, same as the first, in the fact that we now have to catch the Red Bull cars, and then we can catch the Mercedes. Now, we do have the pit stop coming up. We could stay on an extra lap to see what we could do with them. But I will say, it's kind of funny how we've had a couple of races where the same tire strategy was kind of the best way to go. This is the alternate strategy that we're using, but it seems to be working pretty well for us. And as you can see, our new engine is just doing really cool. Let's see if we can catch up here to Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. We are right there in their tire tracks. I think we're going to run out of straightaway here, but let's see if we can get him. Oh, we do get a nice little pass there on Sergio Perez. Move us up into the 4th position. Now, can we catch Max Verstappen? Let's see what happens here.
Moved into P4. A new strategy is available on the MFD.
Oh, look at this, look at this. Okay, we need to be really careful here. He's going to take us way down to the inside again, but thankfully, though, we were able to make the pass and put us up into the 3rd position. Let me see what kind of strategy this is. No, we're going to go ahead and keep this current, as now Max Verstappen powers over us because I guess on the controller, decided to change!
Check your MFD for a new...
Really? Really? Verstappen? This is like our 3rd flashback now. Ay, ay, ay.
A new strategy is available on the MFD.
No, we don't necessarily need to do this.
Copy.
Yeah, we can just keep it there. Now let's see if we can get underneath Max Verstappen, and we do, but he shoved us way down. Oh my goodness. All right, now we can set our sights on those 2 Mercedes that are not getting away too much. So I'm wondering if their engines are starting to show some wear. So let's see what we can do, because we can chase them down, or we can.
Okay, clear.
Or we could possibly just, utilize the pit stop to help us leapfrog them, as right now there seems to be a caution on the...
Check your
If I spin out one more time, I'm going to end the video. because this is getting very rage-inducing, and Monza shouldn't be like this. So we keep getting yellow flags all over the place here. I'm not 100% sure what the hell's going on, but
There's been an incident on track, but
oh,
officials aren't looking to push for a
Sergio
safety
Perez
car.
is out of the
Just be
race.
careful.
I just saw that blip up on my screen. So one of the Red Bulls is out.
Information on Ricardo. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
And now Daniel Ricciardo has got a problem too. Oh, this is weird.
Leading our teammate by 3.7 seconds.
So 2 cars are now out of the race. So that's not a good sign. Especially since it's Ricciardo and it's also Perez. So now we're just going to continue to chase down the leaders here, which are Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. But Bottas is ahead of Hamilton, which is great.
Okay, gap ahead is 5.4 seconds.
Okay, oh boy. I can tell that we're starting to lose some tire wear up here because those front tires are really not gripping. Use some of that overtake and try to catch up with these guys. So there's Sergio Perez's dot, which tells us that he is off course and done for the day. So currently this would be considered a local yellow, but it looks like they cleared away him, so we stay under the green flag. And you know what too, I'm starting to realize that quite possibly Bottas and Hamilton are working with the DRS quite a lot because we haven't really caught up with them. But let's see how we do here on the straightaway. See if we're catching them a little
We're
bit.
approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
Well, not much. We're not really catching them that much, but I think what'll happen is that if they're going to be on the other strategy, which I'm starting to see something wrong with the brakes. It's almost like our brakes are giving us problems. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all the brakes to the front and see what we can do with it. Oh man, brakes are giving me a lot of problems. We're also gonna go ahead and add some downforce to the mix. So we're gonna get a turn of downforce in front of us so we can actually work on these types of corners and hold them a bit better.
To teammate behind is 8.3 seconds. They're on old softs. They're in 7th. The time last lap was a 1:28.6.
Okay, thank you very much. Just trying to get rid of everything there. As right now, the Mercedes duo have pulled away a little bit. Because, again, I think what's going on is that we are definitely having a hard time with the brakes as the car just will not stop at all. It's like the brakes are just getting overheated. Now we get passed by Leclerc and we get passed by Verstappen because I just couldn't do anything with the brakes. It was almost like the brakes overheated, trying to get them stopped.
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
So right now we are having a car that's not doing so hot right now on the brakes. We need to get in on those tires and try to make something happen because if we lose touch with the Mercedes cars, we're going to be sitting ducks. But it looks like we may need to lower the...
Be careful. We think you're going to start losing some tire grip around now.
Okay, I know that, buddy. See if we can try and get around Leclerc here and stay on the podium. Having so many issues right now with the brakes that it's quite amazing. I'm going to have to see if there's any upgrades that we can do that can help with the brake bias and everything. Alright, now we're going to try and get around Charles Leclerc here. See what we can do. We got the DRS.
Push now. We're boxing this lap.
There we go. On the outside we must go. And now the pit window is open. So this means that we could jump. It means that we could jump in now, or we could try and leapfrog the Mercedes bunch. So let's see what they do. Because they're going to have to pit.
Our gap to the car in front is 9.0 seconds.
Yeah. They're going to have to pit here. And they're going to have to take either mediums or hards. Now if they take the mediums, we're going to be in good shape. But I'm wondering if this game actually learned from the mistakes and stuff and are going to put them on the hards. But let's see what happens. Because if anything, we could come in a lap later than everybody else and screw everybody up a little bit. Let's see what happens as they come out of the final couple corners here. See who comes in. Let's see, do any of them come to pit road? Nobody comes to pit road. Alright, so we are staying out one more lap to be on the same pit strategy as these other guys. I didn't see anybody else come to pit road, so I guess it's better for us to pit with everybody else, and then we can kind of keep things in a good manner. But yeah, these soft tires are definitely wearing out, and now the gap to Bottas and Hamilton has grown tremendously. Whoa, got a little bit messed up on the curbing there. Gotta be careful here and not over-rev the engine. But we are losing a lot of ground to Bottas. Because now the gap is 11.5 seconds almost. But we're going to come in this time by for the pit stop. And we're going to be going on to the hards. And then once we're on the hards, the only thing we have to do is just chase down the leaders. And they still have yet to come in. Oh, somebody's in the pit road. It's Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton has come to pit road. I'm not sure what he's taking. I'm not sure what the hell he's taking. He's going to be on the hards. So he's going to be on the hards. We're going to be in with everybody else. Lando Norris will stay out. So let's see what happens here. Off come the softs. On go the hards. Whoa, that was pretty good. And we almost had a double stack there. We almost had a little stint there. But now we're on the hards, and I'm sure that some other drivers are on the mediums.
We want to finish the race on this compound.
Alright, so now with Lewis Hamilton on the hards, what's going to happen with this? Because now we're on the same tire strategy. Looks like we have no choice but to just try and, you know, catch up with him. But this could be where we probably are not going to, I don't see us winning this race, unfortunately. We will definitely get, you know, an 8th fastest lap award. But I really want to see if we can get 8 wins in a row. If at all possible. Ooh, those rear tires are evil. But we could also see if these we can also see too if these hard tires are going to help us out, because I'm noticing that Hamilton's gap to us is growing, I guess. Ah, boy. I think when it all settles out, we'll be back in 3rd again, but we should be able to do some damage to Hamilton and the others. But we'll see. Bottas is on pit road along with the other McLaren cars. So now we'll see how this all shakes out. But it looks like Bottas will get out ahead of everybody else as the others, like Stroll and Giovinazzi, come to pit road. Keep an eye out here and make sure.
That's P4. You're into P4.
So now we are on P number 4. Actually, we're on position number 4. But I can also see Lewis Hamilton ahead of us. So I think our main objective here is that we need to catch Lewis Hamilton and get on the podium. However, when Vettel does pit, it'll actually put us on the podium right there, but we really...
The gap to the car behind is 3.1 seconds.
But we really want to get up there and try for the lead here in Monza, because I really would like to win the Italian GP, because we flunked at Imola, and I kind of want to make up for it. So right now the gap to Hamilton is fluctuating a bit between 5.2 and 5.3 seconds. There we go. Starting to get some better fluidity here. Now Vettel will have to come to pit road. I think he's going to have to come to pit road. I mean, he pushed those... He's pushed those softs to the max, so we should see him come to pit road here momentarily. There he goes. Alright. So now, the gap to Hamilton is now just 4.7 seconds. And he's way out of reach of Valtteri Bottas. Which is also going to mean that he cannot use DRS of any type at this point. So he could possibly be a sitting duck. And I see that Bottas is on the medium tires. Ooh, we could end up fighting Lewis Hamilton again for the win here, but we have to see what we can do here, because right now our car is just, you know, we're just trying to do what we can. Because like I said, this is unfortunately not a very good track for this car. It's a great track for me, but as you can see, there's not very many technical portions. But our next race, which I believe is in Russia, there should be a ton. Now the gap has gone down to 3.8 seconds. I'm wondering if Hamilton is starting to struggle again, or if we're just playing our cards a bit better. We'll have to see how this goes, because as you can see, we are still kind of fluctuating, but we don't have as many laps as we did back over in the Netherlands. Because now we're on lap 15 of 27. So really, it's now or never.
Keep managing your tires. Manage your tires.
The best thing that we can do right now is that we can hope that we can catch up to him, primarily anywhere we can. Because we are starting to pull away from Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari back there. The gap is now 3.3 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. And we're starting to use a little too much of our overtake. So I think what we need to do is that we need to kind of conserve that a little bit and let it build back up naturally, just so we have enough. The gap is now 2.9 seconds. Bottas, I think, is going to fall into our grasp a little bit. Because, again, just like how we did back at Zandvoort, but, again, that was a technical track, and this one's not so much, but look at the gap between us and Louis. 2.5 seconds, so we are starting to catch it again. God, is this going to be another one of those races where it's going to be coming down to the wire? It's probably what's going to end up happening. And this is also what's probably going to end up happening when we have to take another grid penalty. Because I think we will have to take another grid penalty at some point later in the season. Not sure where, but we're going to make sure that it's at a track that could be a technical track for this car. The gap is now 2.1 seconds behind Lewis Hamilton. Meanwhile, Bottas is still up there by about 7 seconds, and now we're slowly catching. We're slowly catching Lewis Hamilton now, because look at the gap, it's about 1.7 seconds. You know, I'm really starting to think that the speed is where the Mercedes are showing their stuff.
The car ahead is 2.0 seconds.
But the one thing I'm noticing is that all these different cars have these different tracks that they're great at. Like here at these high-speed tracks, the Mercedes dominate, or the Mercedes actually do pretty well. Meanwhile, at the tracks like we did at Zandvoort and also at some other places, this car is really showing what it can do, which is actually really cool. The gap is now 1.8 seconds, but we are slowly catching Lewis Hamilton. And one thing too is that if we do get our 10th win of the season, which would mean 8 in a row for us, that would mean a huge points lead. So that means if we made a mistake in one of the upcoming races, it wouldn't hurt us too badly, but I kind of want to get this points lead enough into Saudi Arabia that if we have an issue, we can fall back on those points and still be considered the driver's champion. Because we can certainly get the driver's championship, but not the constructor's title, because unfortunately Alonso has not finished inside of the top 10 very much. But now we've caught up to Lewis Hamilton, and you can see that we're slowly inching up to him, but look at that. See how much that they are just taking off? That's just because our car is not quite... The engine is not quite strong enough yet to do something like this. So we're just going to have to do something here with about 10 laps to go. I don't know if we can catch Bottas, but we're going to try and catch Lewis Hamilton here, possibly for second, because if anything else, we should be able to catch him. Because I don't know if the medium tires are going to fall off for Bottas. I mean, obviously, you know, we're not turning too much here. It's, you know, it's mostly straight line speed. But as you can see, the gap is now 1.4 seconds, so we are still closing the gap, but it's slow and sure that we can get up to him. So let's try and do something out here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and use a little bit of this, because now look at us. We were in the DRS zone, but it came in at the last second, so we bypassed the detection point. But now here we go, into the corner, into the first hairpin, right there on the back section of him. So you can see he can put the power down better than we can. So that's definitely going to be an upgrade we're going to have to get to at some point. But I think we're going to have to think about the durability of some of these parts and pieces first before we could really do anything. I have a feeling we could challenge him on the next lap. Now, is Bottas catching any lap traffic? Oh, he's not. There is tons of cars that are, you know, not even anywhere near him, so probably the win is not going to come for us, but we can at least still get the fastest lap and still steal that extra point. But let's see what happens, as we did have DRS for a brief second there. Let's see what our little Alpine can do. We make our way through the final couple corners here on this lap. Let's see what happens. Can we stay within the DRS? Let's see what happens here. We're gonna get the DRS. No, we're not. Oh wait, yes we are. All right, let's see what happens. I don't think we're close enough, but I think we can try and get as close as we can here. Oh, we are definitely using our motor, and we slide it into the inside. Oh, look at that!
Nice move. Good job.
Oh, and the crowd goes wild for that one. How about that? We slid it in there. But now we have Hamilton behind us, but move us up into the second position, and it looks like he kind of gave us a little extra room there. So thank you for that. Now we're gonna have to see if we can catch up to Valtteri Bottas. However, I think we may have used up a few too many laps, as we will have 8 to go coming to the line. But I don't know if we can catch up with him. Now, Lewis Hamilton's going to have the DRS here, but let's see what we can do if we can actually deter him, because he's not going to be able to use it right here. Now, he might be able to when we get back to the start-finish line, because he's right there on me. Wow. Oh, man. Alright, we're going to have to use any type of overtake we can do. Here comes Lewis Hamilton trying to go to the outside. Nothing doing. So now let's see if we can use some of that overtake. See if we can get him out of the DRS range. Looks like we're going to be able to, but not quite. He will have the DRS.
The teammate behind is 25.6.
But he's not going to be able to use anything for it because, as you can see, he was not able to get anywhere near us, which is pretty cool. The gap to Bottas is still 5.5 seconds. But I'm wondering if those medium tires are going to start falling off here in a sec. Right now I don't see any fall off as Lewis Hamilton tries it again to try and get near us, but not quite. I've seen a lot of different names pop up here. Basically, a lot of the drivers that are on the mediums, they're on the faster tires, but we'll see how this goes. And I'm also doing this. I'm saving up a little bit of overtake. I'm letting it recharge because we're out of range of Lewis Hamilton a little bit. So you can see that he's catching up. But again, it seems like we have the upper hand with this kind of car. Ooh, almost went a little bit careless there. Man, he is just right there on us. We may have to just fluctuate our overtake a little bit. You can see that he's trying the same thing that I did, but I decided to go down low. So now he'll have the DRS again, but we go on to our overtake one more time. I don't think he's going to be able to catch us. I mean, he can catch us, but he won't be able to pass us, so... Because by the time he gets to the back end of us, there's no way. The gap is now 4.4 seconds, so we're slowly closing the gap on Bottas, but I think we're going to run out of time. And if Bottas wins, it's okay, because we got a big enough points gap that we should be alright. If we can just keep Lewis Hamilton here at bay, then, you know, that's all that matters. But again, the tires could fall off here at any moment now for Bottas. We're almost out of DRS range. Now we just got outside of it with Lewis Hamilton there, which is great news. I think we finally are starting to see this car's power come in. I mean, he can catch us. He can catch us pretty well. But right now, we'll see how this goes with 6 to go at the line. I think at this point we would need a yellow flag of some sort to bunch everybody back up. But the gap is slowly closing. The gap is now 4.1 seconds, and it's kind of holding firm, which is good news. So, who knows? Maybe we might be able to catch up here to Bottas and do something with him. I think if we just take it nice and easy through these next couple of laps, while also pushing hard, we should be okay. Because look at this. If you notice, we are actually not losing too much time to Valtteri Bottas. As for Lewis Hamilton, he's right behind us, but Hamilton is not really strong enough at this point. In fact, I think he's just going to have to settle for third, especially since we are having a little bit better time getting through these corners. As we get through Lesmo 1, and then we'll get to Lesmo 2 up here. Get on the gas. He's out of the DRS range, which is great news. The gap is now 3.7 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. So we're slowly reeling them in. I'm curious to see what this car is going to do once we get up there. So that's why I'm kind of just biding my time with the overtake. You can see down there we're at 65%, and it's draining a little bit, because it drains on the high-speed portions of the track, and then it recharges itself while we get into the turns. So right now, Lewis Hamilton is right there within our DRS range at some point. The gap is now 3.5 seconds behind Bottas. We're running out of laps here, so we're going to have to utilize a little bit more of our overtake and try our darndest to get up there. The gap was 2.9 seconds. I don't know. We may need somebody. We may need some lap cars, but I think he's going to catch them probably within the next lap or so. So we could possibly use those to our advantage, especially if he catches them in the wrong spot. As now I can see that Lewis Hamilton has closed the gap on us a little bit, because I think we're just trying to be super careful over the curbs. Let's go ahead and use a little bit of our overtake here to try and keep him away. Looks like he's out of DRS range. The gap is now 2.5 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. Ooh, Hamilton is starting to reel us in a little bit. Because again, that car is good on straight line speed, but not so much when it comes to the corners, like we are. You can see we're actually now getting out of his DRS range, and the gap is now 1.9 seconds, make that 2 seconds.
We're catching the car ahead, but be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
Oh, they'll last until the end of the race there, bud. But look at this. We are closing the gap on Valtteri Bottas. This is going to be another barn burner finish. Probably we should take more grid penalties more often, because then these races would get even more exciting. We still have about 4 laps to go now. 4 to go. Gap is now 2.2 seconds. Because right now we are showing that this car can do it all practically. Now we are going to be catching some lap traffic, possibly, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. So I think we're just going to have to use DRS to kind of help us out a little bit. The gap is now 1.6 seconds. Let's see what happens if we engage it. 1.7 seconds, unfortunately. But we still have some time as we continue to snake our way around the track. And I will say, though, even if we don't win, we still have the fastest lap, which is going to help us in the point standings tremendously. We will get that extra point for leading it, no matter what. I mean, the only way somebody can take it away now is if they suddenly come to pit road, put on softs or something, and then try to go for that extra point, which someone like Verstappen could do. Anyway, now we're going down the front straightaway. This is where we were able to make up a little bit of time. The gap is now 1.5 seconds. We're stuck at 2:03.
There's 3 laps of fuel remaining.
This is kind of interesting because the car itself is just having a hard time maintaining some speed. I'm wondering if we're abusing the engine a bit. See if we can see what's going on. Ooh, you can see that the internal combustion engine is already at 20% abused, but I think that's just because of the abuse that we put it here at Monaco, because you're just so much on the gas. Looks like there's a battle for the 5th position as we continue to close the gap on Valtteri Bottas. Let's see what happens as we come out of this corner and make our way down this back straightaway. See if we can use a little bit of overtake to try and catch up with him. The gap is currently 1.4 seconds and it's stabilizing. But look at him. He is now in our sights. We're going to have 2 laps to go this time. The gap is 1.3 now. This is where we're going to have to exercise a little bit more of our overtake. We won't be able to use too much more at this point, but let's see what we can do to try and catch up here to Valtteri Bottas. Here we go. The gap, we are now within 1 second of him. Are we going to get the DRS? I don't think we are. I think by the next lap we will definitely get it, which means it'll be the white flag lap. But we are now within 0.9 of a second of him. We're going to try something here. Oh, this is going to be another barn burner finish. I can see it right now. The gap is back up to 1 second. Because he's got, man, that car has just got way too much acceleration on it. It's just insane. But let's see what we can do here, because now we can try a little bit of overtake at this point. See if we can catch him coming down the back straightaway, and see if we can get him on this next lap. This is going to be a barn burner! We are not going to, we are not letting that race finish like that. We're not going to use a mistake like that to define this race. But I have a feeling that this is going to be one barn burner of a finish. Let's see what happens with this. As we now make our way through the turn. Are we going to have DRS? Not exactly. We're going to use a little bit of our overtake here to keep it as close as we can to Valtteri Bottas. This could be a last lap pass, but let's see how we do going through these chicanes. Not so bad through here. But now let's see what happens. We're going to be coming out of the final corner. I think we might run out of time here. because I think we're just kind of losing these laps. But are we going to have enough for the DRS here? Here we go. This is the white flag lap presented by Ally Bank. I'm just going to stay in it here and see what we get.
This is your final lap of the race.
There's really not much I could do, but let's see if we can send it up here to the inside. This is where we had the most problems. We're gonna try a bonsai on him. Way down on the apron. Look at that. We just overtook Valtteri Bottas, but he comes again out here on the outside. Now we're just gonna have to use a little bit of our overtake again. Let's see what we can do here. See if we can bonsai him again as we go into the next set of the chicanes. We're gonna try it again. He lets us go by and give us the race lead, but he's going to have DRS now. He's going to have DRS as we go into the next corner. Straight through Lesmo 1. Now we go through straight over to Lesmo 2. He's going to have DRS now, but is he strong enough? I see him starting to fall back a little bit. Here we go. He's in the DRS. We're going to use our overtake. We're going to try and defend as much as we can. Here comes Valtteri Bottas to the inside. Way down to the inside. He tried to make the move. Couldn't do it. Now we go through the snaky chicanes. Oh, he's right there in our back tail section. Oh, he goes to the outside. He's going to the inside. He's just all over our back portion. Here we go. Final corner. Have to cover that bottom area, but I think we're going to get the better of them. Coming out of the final corner, win number 8, win number 10 at the Italian Grand Prix. Again. Again!
Congratulations.
From almost the back of the field to the front. Oh my god, this Alpine rocks!
Here we are then, a thoroughly deserved win in Italy after another excellent Grand Prix. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Well, Crofty, this was won through an abundance of speed and an abundance of skillful overtakes. Inside, outside, cutting underneath, we saw it all today. And it's really nice to see a Grand Prix won in that manner. A race, surely, that will satisfy the purists today, I think.
Oh, God, yes. Wow. This Alpine is just mind-blowing.
Here come today's winning drivers, and what a race it was. This is a team that knows success very well in F1, and they're just itching for even more. Congratulations to the Alpine team for their excellent win.
Oh, wow. This Alpine is just crazy. It's crazy good. Whew. I'm actually sweaty from that.
The scientist increases their championship lead. Some amazing talent out on the track today. But Anthony, who would you pick as your driver of the day?
I have to give it to the scientist. Look at where they finished compared to where they started. It's not easy to cut through the field like that in Formula One, so it was a great effort.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, good work from Aston Martin this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, that was certainly an incredible weekend of racing. Be sure to join myself and Ant for more exciting Formula One action soon.
And look at this, it's a double points finish for Alpine. How cool is that? And in the point standings, we now have a 56 points lead ahead of Lewis Hamilton and a 60-point lead ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Oh, get in there, baby. Get in there. Alright, so our next race, we're heading to Russia, and we got a bunch of stuff that's going to be going on our car, including some general wear stuff, some fuel technology, which will help with power. We'll have some new rear wing end plates, and we'll also have some reliability testing that will be coming up for Russia. So we got quite a few upgrades that are coming to Russia, and that should be really cool. Because I think now we're going to have 8 races left before we crown ourselves a champion. If you guys want to see more of this, make sure you hit the like button, don't forget to subscribe, and also comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Until then, take care.